That reminds me of the time me and my family went to the Winding Stairs.
The Winding Stairs?
And when we got to the Winding Stairs, we go to the Winding Stairs.
The Winding Stairs Trail in Arkansas is a total of almost 5 miles out and back and one of the best hikes that I've ever been on, and definitely the best in Arkansas, in my humble opinion.
I'm probably the most humble person that I know.
At least in my social circle, there's not a lot of trails that are talked about a lot, but this one is worth mentioning. We went to Arkansas for my birthday about 6 weeks ago and hiked this trail. And just a month later, we got to hike it again for Thanksgiving. Honestly, I have this thing about not hiking the same trail twice. There are hundreds or thousands or millions of other trails. I've been there, seen that kind of mentality. I want to experience something new and sparkly.
Okay, wrong attitude.
However, I welcomed hiking this one again for a few reasons. The first time I was really focused on catching the magic that is the Winding Stairs on video. The second time I was too, but less so. Also, it was a different time of year.
A month? A month is a different part of the year for you.
Maybe not in the summer, but definitely in the autumn. In October, there was a lot of foliage with the reds, oranges, and yellows, and by late November, most of the leaves had dropped to the ground. And a combination of me actually paying more attention and it being later in the season led me to notice these gold leaves. They looked out of a storybook, metallic and shimmery.
Either go like we did now, where it was the fall, so you get to see the leaves and everything, or go in the spring when the water's kind of warming up and it's hotter, or the water's still cold.
Too cold.
But it's hotter, so you want to get in the water and jump in, and then you can swim around and cool off and then get back to your hike.
Also, the second time, I got to go with Austin's family. Different people, different experience. It was also cool and meaningful to experience their family tradition done year after year after year.
I do remember my parents' dogs, so it must have been when I was in elementary school, because the dogs that we had. And we had little Cocker Spaniels that were black, and we would let them run off leash. And one time we were hiking along, there's barely anybody out there, you run across people here and there. And we could hear people going, "Oh my God, there's bears running around." They were our Cocker Spaniels.
How did they even find out about it though?
I experienced Winding Stairs the first time probably 40 years ago via a canoe. I went whitewater canoeing through there. I found out about the trail was later on in life when I had children, and we went up there hiking, and found out about that through the little store that used to be there at Elder's Pike.
I was curious as to how the trail had changed since it had almost been 10 years since our last visit.
The trail is a little bit eroded more than I thought.
My previous visit before this year was almost 10 years ago. That was right after a big storm, so there were a bunch of trees knocked down. So you could see some of those trees still, but there was also a lot more new growth. Just changing the pattern of the river, which you expect. But then again, when you actually see it in your lifetime, you go, wow, I'm getting old. We came to the river crossing, and there was a young family there with 3 children and a dog. It kind of had an imprint in my mind that I'd done the same thing, but it was 20 years ago, with children. And so that was neat to see that family with small children and him putting them on his shoulders and carrying them back across and doing basically the same thing I'd done. So I felt like, wow, that's pretty good.
Like all trails, pack water, pack a snack, but also pack toilet paper, or better yet, go to the toilet before you even get to the trailhead. The one at the trailhead was not the most well kept, at least when we went. Probably it was going to be maintenance pretty soon, which would help with the smell, but you know, just in case. It was an absolutely amazing hike, and I'm so grateful that I got to experience it with some of Austin's family. I definitely wouldn't mind hiking it again, possibly in a warmer season, so as to avoid the ice bath for my feet.
Better than coffee.
The other time we went, we were trying to go on the Winding Stairs Trail, but we ended up on the wrong trail because there's 2 or 3 trails in there that intertwine, and so we ended up on the Equestrian Trail. I think it's the Viles Branch Loop Trail, and it's not fun to hike.
For anyone interested in hiking the winding stairs, getting to the trailhead, you might either need to be careful or have some very large tires because it was almost not a road with as many holes as there were. So thanks for watching. Make sure to smash the like button, especially if you learned something and you want to help the channel. Thanks in advance. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see y'all next week. Bye.
Why are you cracking up? You're ruining my take. You're not playing well. What are you doing? You're gonna make it look real. Jump!
You're not listening, right?
No.
Look less creepy. What you say? Winds howling. Are you serious right now? 2. Paul. 2. How many?